What is going on, people? Welcome aboard the lifeboat. I am Captain Calhoun speaking, and I believe it's Tuesday morning, huh? We're going to go in here and talk about some success. I have a different setup today, so pardon my awkward head movements. I have moved things around. I'm trying something new. But welcome aboard. Hello there. Jason P., Robin Miners, Jane Aldrich, good morning. Good to see you guys. We're going to talk about routine. We're going to talk about the formula for success, which I almost overfilled that, which is routine. And now I'm not saying you need to do the same things every day in the same order, but the first things I do in the day are very important. My first goals, my first decisions, my first actions, they set the tone for my day. And right now, my morning routine is serving me quite well. It could definitely be a little better, but we are taking the baby step method, right? We don't want to take everything on at once. We don't want to make a list of like 6 or 7 things and then expect to get them done on the first day of our routine, do we? Roberta, what's going on? Good morning. This new setup is disconcerting. Throws me off. Robin Miners. I didn't paint yesterday. I was feeling low energy and like stretched a little thin, so I decided not to. But we will be painting today. I need to. I have to do so. Um, for me, Layla Bradley, good to see you. Welcome aboard. We don't want to make a list of 6 or 7 things and then expect to get them all done on our first day of the routine, right? Let's say we start with making the bed. We're gonna make the bed for like a week or two, right? Every day. And then it'll get to the point where we're sitting there twiddling our thumbs after said bed has been made. And we'll be wondering, what now? Well, that's when you add step 2, right? That's when you add the next step. Tommy Bird, welcome in. Good to see you. Right now, my morning routine is laying in bed and feeling good for a little while, doing some journaling. I get my coffee and my hygiene going, not at the same time, but they're interchangeable in that place. And then I get my music going, get some prep for the boat. Then I do the boat. And then after that, I eat. And different things follow that step. I don't have a routine after that. There are a bunch of things that could go there. I would like food and exercise to be a part of my first actions. I would like food and exercise to be in my morning routine. Now, they don't need to be before the boat, but this is what I'm working on adding right now. I'm working on adding exercise to the morning portion. And also eating, I feel like should happen before the boat, but I'm also not giving myself enough time to do so. So this is where I'm at with my routine. I feel like I would probably be happier, more excited, more cognitive, and more effective on the boat if my brain had fuel in it. You know, just spitballing here, but I think that would make a huge difference in my abilities in the morning. Jeremy Fowler, what's going on? And also, exercise does pretty much the same thing, but you need food to do that as well. So, just trying to balance all these things out. And so far, so good. So far, what I've got going is working immensely. So, no big deal. Just always striving for better. That's what we do here on the boat. We connect, we do better than we did yesterday. Oh, that reminds me. Now that we've given people a little bit of a chance to show up, Teresa R., good to see you. I have an announcement. I have a big announcement. Maybe it's too early to announce, but I'm going to do it anyways. It's too late now. I've decided that I'm going to spin off my own channel. And I want you to know the lifeboat will always come first. I will always be on the lifeboat. There's not going to be a lifeboat without a Calhoun. But I'm going to start doing some fun stuff on the side. I'm going to start doing some stuff that, like this, I have to conform to a certain set of ideas, which I'm all about, right? But I can't let loose, right? I can't tell fart jokes. You know, there's not that that's a huge deal, but you get the point. There's a certain, what's the word that I'm searching for but can't find? There's a certain like confines I have to operate in on the lifeboat. And I was realizing that the other day and thought, well, why don't I start my own little thing so I can do whatever? So I think I will. I think I will. And I will be letting you guys know what it's called, what times I'll be going live, and all of that fun stuff. But there's going to be a Spanx Calhoun spinoff channel. And it's not going to be lifeboat oriented. But just, to spread my wings, just to stretch my legs a little. Scooby Lee, good to see you. Teresa R, hello, hello. Diana Reese, hey gang, hope you're all well. Good to see you, Captain. Always a pleasure. But yeah, guys, routine is the formula for success. We all need certain things. We need food, we need sleep, we need nutrition. That was food. Food and nutrition are the same. Sleep, exercise, and nutrition. So why not Calhoun Corner? There's so many names that we could play with RSM, and I welcome all the ideas, by the way. Um, I think that's a great idea. Good to see you, RSM. What was I saying? We all need certain things. So add them to your routine, right? I've got food in my routine. It's not placed properly yet, but it's in there. I've got hygiene in the routine because if it's not, I'll forget and then my teeth will fall out. Um, and, I guess I also have an end of the day routine. That's how my sleep gets incorporated properly, right? At 9:30, I start winding it down, which is early as heck, guys. I tell you what, I've never had such an early bedtime since I was like 7 years old. But maybe it was older than that. But anyways, that being said, in order to get the proper sleep, I make sure that I'm doing the right things at the right times at night as well. I do have an end of the day routine, and it is very similar to the beginning of the day routine. I wrap it up at 9:30. I get the hygiene out of the way, and I lay in bed and feel good and journal as I fall asleep. And that's pretty much the deal. Um, Maybe I'll watch some videos, but ensuring that I'm getting proper sleep, ensuring that I get proper nutrition, ensuring that I get proper exercise, right? My dad's routine is a little bit different than mine. He will get up, play with the cat, get some coffee going, and then go for a 2 mile walk. And he does all of this before 6 o'clock. He is ready to go. By the time Uncle Johnny and Mama Scoville are getting up, he's already conquered his day. He is already like in charge of what's going on in his world, and he's ready to go. He's eaten, he's exercised, he's journaled, he's probably prayed and done yoga as well because that's what he does. And then at that point, the rest of the day is your oyster. You can do with it what you will, and you're very well equipped to do so. Now, I would be very surprised if you tried this, if you had a nice solid routine morning and then didn't feel friggin' amazing afterwards. I would be so surprised because that's what a good routine morning will do. You ever have a morning where you're like, damn, that couldn't have gone better? Well, that's literally what having a routine about your morning will do to all your mornings. And I mean, obviously there's difference, right? There's going to be a difference between today and between tomorrow. But that being said, um, I mean, every single morning is going to be lit on fire. It's going to be so great if you just get a little bit of routine going on. Tommy Bird says, I wish I could do things in front of the camera like you and your dad, just not brave enough, lol, not a public speaker these days. When you say it like that, Tommy Bird, it seems like you may have used to been, may have been a public speaker at one point. These days, what do you mean? Were you much better with your words at one point? I bet you could, honestly. It's not all that difficult. It's just, kind of facing your fears every day kind of thing. And I mean, I guess you wouldn't have to stream every day either. You could just stream now and again. But, do your thing. It's all good. Jane Aldrich says, good on you, Spanx. I look forward to seeing what you choose to do. I will be there for sure. And that's the one thing that's been getting me. I don't know what I will do. I decided I probably will just try everything, right? We'll play some games, we'll do some music, we'll do some art. We'll basically do all the things that I like to do one at a time and see what feels the best. I think that's probably what it'll end up being. Scooby says, God, it's nice to have a friend who just wants me to be happy as myself. I tell you what, that is a real friend right there, Scoob. Spanx Unleashed. My dad said something similar to this, Casey. He's big on the raw and what's the other word he uses a lot? Unleashed. I feel like it was an something word. Untamed. I don't know. He's funny. You guys are funny. I think that's a great name. We're gonna have to play with a bunch of them. I'm not entirely sure, and that's I have to say the biggest struggle for me often is deciding what to do. Um, I have so many options. I perceive so many possible paths. It's always a difficult thing for me to decide. Glad you got yourself a really good friend, Scoob. This is the quality that we should be judging our friends by, honestly. If they are happy with us being happy as ourselves, that's a great definitely some guitar playing, Jeremy. That's a great way to judge the quality of your friends. And I'm not encouraging you to judge people, right? But definitely like understand what we're letting into our lives and what we're not, right? Understand what we're letting into our space, even, right? I used to keep company with some pretty poor characters, and I don't mean financially poor. I mean like spiritually not rich, you know. And when I say spiritually not rich, I'm not talking about religion or anything like that. I just mean like what's in here was devoid, right? It was gone. Um, Kneel means nothing, I believe. Blessed to crochet. Good to see you. Good morning. Tommy Bird says, well, never really was a public speaker, but I've worked some boiler rooms. So I once felt like this new setup is bugging me. I once felt like I could have done so. Last time I tried with years in between, that part of me had died. LMAO. Well, it's interesting. That's one of my favorite movies of all time, Boiler Room. Super hilarious. And I got turned on to that movie because my dad was doing stuff like that when I was a kid. So I know exactly what you're talking about. That's super interesting, Tommy. Maybe it's a good thing that you didn't take to it, right? You could be filthy rich and devoid of any redeeming qualities. You know, you could be that person, which you're not, and I'm very grateful for. Filthy rich and devoid of any redeeming qualities. I pulled that right out of my butt, right from the hip. Pow! I don't think I'm allowed to make finger guns, am I? I feel like that's a no-no. I might have screwed that up. That's so funny, Casey. My dad is a watch. He's kind of a sicko for watches. You know what I mean? That's kind of a weird way to say that, but he loves watches. Speaking of, I should wear mine now and again. Just reading what you guys have to say. We will definitely be playing some guitar, by the way, Jeremy. I've been playing a lot more regularly, so I'm not feeling absolutely unready. Oh, the finger gun was out of frame. I was like, wait, what was out of frame? Am I doing bad stuff? That's I had already forgotten. Let's get some ones up for anyone out there that's struggling. Um, Anyone out there that needs a little extra love, needs a little extra thought, prayers, whatever. And I did talk to my dad this morning, and he sounded really good. He sounded really happy, cognitive. You know, it sounded like a good day, which isn't every morning. So I'm super stoked on that. He had already kicked his routine's butt by that time. Um, the Arabian Bard, good to see you, Barbara Aldrich. Hello, got the family on board. I love it. I'm feeling I don't know if inadequate's the right word, but I'm not feeling very energized and I'm not feeling like I have a whole lot to say, guys. I hope that's all right. It is what it is, that's for sure. But routine is so important. In fact, in the beginning, I said this doesn't mean you need to do the same thing every day, right? And the reason I put that in there is because when I first started learning about routines, I was a very young man. I was diagnosed with ADHD when I was like 6 years old or something like that, and they put me on Ritalin right out the gate. Um, so I was learning about routine around that age because routine is really good for kids with ADHD, right? It really helps them. And I have to say, it definitely helps me. It helps me and it always has helped me a ton. But I have always been adverse to, like, opposed to the idea of a routine. It makes me feel caged, or at least the idea of it feels caging, right? It feels limiting. It feels confining. And I don't know necessarily why that is. Maybe it's just my idea of routine, of doing the same thing every day, right? Just really bothers me, right? So I put this part in. This doesn't mean you need to do the same thing every single day, because it isn't what that isn't what routine is, right? I mean, it is the sequential doing of the same things, right? Doing it in the same way, in the same fashion. That is routine, but we don't have to we don't have to schedule out our every move, right? We don't have to schedule out our every action. In fact, my routine is set up with leeway for difference, right? I can do hygiene or coffee in any order, right? They just need to both happen kind of at the same time. Not simultaneously, but you get it, kind of in in the same time slot, right? That's where they happen, but they don't need to happen in the same order. You know, what's another good example of this? After the lifeboat, I eat and do other things, right? Well, that part of my routine is kind of an open space. I can put what I want there, and I do have an idea of what kind of needs to happen, but also there's room, right? There's room to grow, there's room to play, because I can't feel confined. If I feel confined, I'll go nuts. I have to feel like I have room to move around and kind of fart around, even, right? Jaeger LeCoultre. I don't know how to say that. Model 146.2.971. Rose gold. I do love me some rose gold. No box or papers. Interesting. Interesting. I'm going to look that up. We're going to look at it together. But don't feel like starting a routine is going to like sell your time to the same thing every day. You know what I mean? It's not going to be like that. Sandra Ferguson, welcome aboard. No sorries. You don't need to be sorry. I'm happy you're here. Life is a Dreamin', Mary Jones. Hell yeah. Good to see you guys. Oh, the ones. Yes, Teresa. The ones are the way that we say thoughts or prayers. It's the way that we make that non divisive language, because some people aren't religious and they don't like that. And, this, that, and the other. So we put the ones up to send love, to send well wishes. Um, it's how we break down the divisive language. Brain is mush this morning. I also think if I, again, ate before the boat, I would have a lot better time keeping my train of thought. I think I'm still jumping the gun a little bit in the morning, which is, again, my fault. I've been very cognitive and very successful at 7 a.m., so there's no reason I shouldn't be successful at 9. I love this hat too. Isn't it sweet? It's a little big on me, but can't remember where I got this. I feel like it was a gift from a special person. A lot of the stuff that I have that I cherish are gifts from people that are special to me. I also feel like the lighting is different today. Am I wrong? Am I just extra grainy? What is this? Why do I look like that? I was saying something awesome. Oh, we're gonna look at that watch. That's right. I've also been thinking a lot about our painting over here, guys. I don't think we're gonna make it a cloud monster. I think we're gonna keep it realistic. Maybe some cartoons, right? Maybe cartoony, but I want to put some lightning coming down. I would like to make it look like the wind is blowing really hard. So I'm going to play with some of those ideas rather than making a cloud monster and making it like fantasy. But the next one we do, I already have an idea for what we're going to do next. I've always wanted a hat like that. Jeremy Fowler says I need a feathered pimp hat like your dad has, lol. I think it's a hilarious hat. I wonder where he got that. It's a pretty sweet gig. All right, let's look up this watch. You don't mind if we look it up together, do you, Casey? I guess I should ask, huh? Wow, look at that. Beautiful. So many buttons need to be pressed. It's going to be good for me to get my own thing going. Oh, that's not what we want. Brand's on autopilot, pulling up the art. Okay, here we go. Look at that. Look at that. Beautiful. I love the black leather with the rose gold and the black face on the dial. Ooh. Ooh. Diana Reese, good to see you. I'm sorry to hear about your rough few days. The good thing is that it can't head this way forever, right? Eventually, the nose has to pull up and things get better. So hopefully, we're getting close to that turning point, huh? Spanx, do you have a PO box people can send things to? Yes, I do. I'm using the Lifeboat PO box right now. I can get the address for you. And eventually, when I say eventually, maybe in like the next month or two, I should be driving my own vehicle, so I won't need to rely on my dad to go pick stuff up from the PO box. Right, I'm gonna need one of those, says Jeremy Fowler. Yeah, you and me both, dog. Let's go for the whole squad. What was I? I was just doing something. Man, I'm a mess today, guys. Oh, the PO box. Correct. Correctamundo. Mhm. I've taken to listening to lo-fi in the mornings. There's this channel called Smooth Sounds, and he does like mixes of like lo-fi and trap mixed together. If you're not familiar, trap is like really ghetto rap. I mean, that's not a complete description, but that'll suffice. Um, and it just slaps in the morning. I don't know what it is. It doesn't get me energized, but it really makes me feel good. Here is the PO box address. Now, I will say, if your mail service, your local post office or whatever says that this isn't a PO box, it is a box, right? It's like a UPS store basically. So they're right. It's not but the address is fine. It works, right? It's a mailbox. It's not a technically a PO box, right? So if you catch flack from the postal service or whatever, it's fine. Just tell them to send it anyway. Jeremy Fowler says easy mode. Okay, I'll have to check that out. It's another YouTube artist that makes lo-fi songs and tracks. Dude, I listen to so much smooth sounds. I would say I have a problem, but it's not. It's just so great, right? But if it was debilitating, I would be debilitated. That's how much I'm intaking. Aaron Cooper, good to see you. Yeah, guys, thanks for hanging out with me this morning. I just feeling extra chill, I guess, which is fine. I do wish I had more energy, and I don't know. That's the wrong way to say that. I have plenty of energy, but my head is just elsewhere, I guess. You guys have any fun plans this week? What do you got going on? Share with me all of your secrets. Hit that like, subscribe, and the bell for notifications. If you like what we do here, it certainly makes a big difference. Ideally, ideally, my routine would consist of food and caffeine and hygiene all before and exercise all before I have to do anything like with my brain. Right now, I have 50% of that, right? I have hygiene and caffeine, but I don't have food and exercise. Those happen after I do cognitive stuff, aka the boat. So I can either, I'm just sharing my thought processes with you guys. I can either wake up earlier, which I most likely will end up doing, or um, I can crunch time better in the morning. But I don't think that's the answer. I think the answer is getting up earlier, right? Because if I crunch time, then I'm feeling rushed and I'm creating more problems, right? Um, so, and that also might entail going to bed a little bit earlier, right? Am I hitting my 9:30 routine properly? Am I missing it a little bit? Um, these are things that I need to consider to make this change, right? If I would like to achieve this goal of being extra cognitive at this time of day, I probably need to be awake since 7, right? Which sometimes I am. And I think you can tell the difference on the days that I am. I won't say which days I am and which days I'm not, but I bet you can tell the difference in the days I've been up for 2 hours and the days I haven't. Need some energy, says Sandra. With my pain, it's hard. That I can relate with that a ton. I tell you what, I can relate with that a ton. And maybe finding energy in something unconventional might assist you better. And when I say something unconventional, I mean we feel energized and passionate when something exciting happens, right? Or when we're involved in an activity that we really, really love. It does energize us in a way, right? It might not be that like spastic, crazy drive, right? But there is energy in happiness, in joy. So maybe Sandra, we can find some energy in just doing things that we love doing, right? That's part of the whole self-love portion of the routine that we didn't talk about at all, by the way. But self-love is important, and this is one of the reasons. This is one of the reasons. Sometimes conventional methods aren't going to serve, right? Maybe we're in a lot of chronic pain. Maybe this, that, or the other. Who knows? But we can find energy and solace in joy and doing the things that we like doing. I make cards, but haven't had the energy. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Sandra. Yeah, much love. Much love going out. Blessed to Crochet says, me and my mom have a craft show this weekend, trying to get ready for it. Heck yeah, that sounds fun. James Collins, welcome in. Good to see you, bro. Hey guys, bit late. We'll be listening along. Self-care is legit and something I feel we must do. And something I didn't practice for the longest time. Um, made a world of difference when I actually started practicing self-care, self-love as a part of my routine. It literally changed my life. I have chronic pain, says Barbie, and it's hard to do the things I love sometimes. Hmm. I can when I said because I'm trying to think of a solution, but that seems like a just a rough sitch. Um, there's always time for novel experiences, right? And sometimes I hate being the glass half full guy, but that's just who I am. And that's I'm like a product of my experiences, right? That's how I've coped with the things that I've been through. I am now the glass half full guy. And I just have to accept it. But sometimes I hate it. Like right now, for example. Um, yeah, that sucks. But again, I think it's always a good time for novel experiences. Maybe there's something out there that you love, that you don't even know that you love, that you can do with chronic pain. Who knows? There's always hope for something new. There's always hope for a different experience. Hey, Yadira, what's going on? Welcome in. I hope both of you, Sandra and Barbie, I hope both of you can find some serenity and solace in the midst of your pain. Just set up a paint station in the rec room. Start painting. Paint pouring. I usually paint landscapes or nature, but abstract will be new. I am excited to start it. Heck yeah. You'll have to let us know how it goes. I'm stoked about that. Yeah, let's get some ones up for our chronic pain enjoyers. That was the wrong way to say that. For our chronic pain experiencers. What's getting me down? Robin Miner says, "Let's peel the onion." What's getting me down? I'm not really down today. I just feeling very thoughtful. Just a different mode today. I'm really excited to get painting so that I don't have to, so I can kind of shed my bonds, shrug out of this lifeboat jacket. But that's okay. Maybe I'm just getting a little. Um, what's the right way to say that? Even maybe I'm getting a little jaded with uh, with doing the same thing all the time. Maybe I just need a little bit of difference in my life. Maybe I just need a little bit of shake up to my routine, right? I think also shaking up the routine is important. Pre-holiday funk, asks Robin Miners. That also is a absolutely legit reason, explanation. That also might be it. I feel pretty good. I don't know. Yeah, just there's a little something. I'm very usually I get really thoughtful when something needs to be thought about, which is a weird. It's kind of feels silly to say, but I usually just kind of obey my gut feelings and like what's naturally going on with myself because it usually always has a great purpose, and it's just for me to discover what that is. So I'm when I feel pensive and thoughtful like this, usually I will let those thoughts go and see where they lead, and they'll lead me to whatever the issue is. I think that I've already found the answer. It's just now and again, this is often the case with me. I often will find the answer or know the answer, just instinctively, but the work that is entailed in achieving the answer and actually achieving the goal is the hard part. And I haven't eaten yet either, mocked. So that's going to make a big difference when I get some food inside me. But really excited to do the painting today. I'm also really excited to start looking into and doing work on, maybe doing a little spin-off channel. Maybe that's the answer, right? If I'm getting jaded by the day to day, I need to shake it up, starting my own channel or like, doing some side work for the union, or there's a million things that I can do that I'm already implementing and moving towards. So thank you for asking though, Robin. Yeah, it means a lot that you care so much. All of you. Thank you very much. Dale Cox, what's going on? Good buddy. You need a car, says Casey, which would give you more of a freedom feeling. You probably feel guilty asking people for a ride. You are correct, but I have a little moped. I just need to get it tuned up. It's leaking oil, so I'm trying to. I think I've told you guys this before. I'm just saving some money up, trying to get it taken in, and you know, uh, barely putting things together over here, but we're putting them together. Brianna Miller asks, this is going to be uncomfortable. Brianna Miller asks, why were seventh son Shannon Smith and Mena surviving together and Carry On banned from the boat? Well, it's not a simple answer, but I will do my best. Shannon Smith, seventh son, and Jimena were all supporting people that are not moving towards love. And it's not for me to take your inventory as a crew member, right? As part of the crew, I don't take your inventory. But if you're gonna support people that call my dad a pedophile, if you're gonna like play both sides of the fence, and like this is the unfortunate reality, we have channels and people that hate us just because we are who we are. And this might sound wild, but whatever, it is what it is. This is the unfortunate reality. So I have to, when I say we, me and my dad, but I have to defend the boat and make sure that it maintains a safe atmosphere, right? We have to feel safe here. People have to feel welcome when they come here so that we can work through the things that we work through, right? That's part of what makes it work. In order to connect, this has to be a safe place. So when these OG members of the boat start supporting these trolls, start hanging out with those people, start, watching their videos, leaving comments on their videos, talking about their videos in our videos, I have to do something. I can't allow that, right? And it's not just as simple as they're guilty by association. They're actively participating in attempting to bring down this channel. So it may not look like that to the crew members that hang out with them, and that makes a lot of sense to me, right? Because Again, they're playing both sides of the fence. So those three people got banned because they were supporting the enemy. And it's crazy. I feel crazy saying that. Like, we have enemies. That's wild to me. Like, we literally stand for love, connection, harm reduction, than the day, doing better today than I did yesterday, right? So it blows my mind that we have people out there that literally every day are making videos about us. You know what I mean? And I hate talking about it because then I'm giving these people attention, which I guarantee you people from this stream are going to go over there and check that crap out, you know? And it's a vicious cycle. But I love you, Brianna. I feel like you deserve an answer to this question. I respect you as well. So I'm going to give you the answer. Carry On and Surviving Together got banned for defending these people, basically. And also, Seventh Son hates my dad. Seventh Son called my dad a liar the day he got banned, to like on stream after coming at him pretty sideways. So it's just like it, I don't know. There's no room for mean people on the boat. We could, so instead of giving you that huge detailed explanation that I just gave, I could have just said mean people don't belong here, because that's what ended up happening. They ended up being mean people, right? And I'm all for meeting people where they're at and trying to work with them. But Seven Sun's been around since the beginning. We have done so much for that man. And he just turns around and spits in our face. You know, I don't take kindly to that. Like, I can make room, right? And I can adjust where I'm at and to meet people where they're at, but I'm not gonna take spit in the eye, you know? there's there's a difference between being a doormat and being a facilitator. And I think I'm doing a pretty good job of that. And honestly, I hate that we banned Jimena. I wish I didn't have to do that. But that's the thing. I had to do that. And I'm not saying I had to do that because someone told me to do that. I had to do that like because the way this whole thing works, right? Because and I think it's worth saying sometimes I'll just ban someone when they speak out in a certain way, right? Just boom, I'm not going to deal with it. Jimena and Seven Son both, I went to extreme lengths to get their side of the story, to talk to them, to try and keep them on the boat, to try and find a way to move forward without banning them. And in fact, Seventh Son has been banned multiple times and brought back on the boat. So we've given him many chances, and each time he just spit in our face. Jimena, um, again, I went to extreme lengths to figure out what exactly was going on because I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that she would be a part of that. Um, in fact, honestly, I still don't necessarily think that she intentionally did that. I think that she kind of got roped into something and got swept away with the river, which is unfortunate. But I mean, you really need to watch who you're keeping company with. You know what I mean? You're hanging out with people that literally hate us and they're your friends. It's really hard for me to wrap my brain around. Anyways, shout out to those people. I hope that they're doing well. I hope that everything's going nice for them. Although I will say 5 days ago, I did see a post on Facebook from Shannon Smith just trashing my dad and the lifeboat, just talking all kinds of mess. Seventh Son was in there too. I couldn't help myself. I had to respond. And then I realized that was a mistake after I blocked them both. So now my post is just out there and I can't do anything about it. But that's cool. Yeah, the drama's lame. It makes me sad too, Brianna. I'm sorry that that happened, guys, but it had to. I feel like we're stemming the growth of the boat when we do stuff like that, but it's better that we grow the right way than if we were to grow into some beast that isn't safe anymore. You know what I mean? So Jeremy Fowler says that's scary because we share some sensitive stuff in here. I have been thinking about that so much, dude. I can't even tell you. That's one of the reasons yesterday I was saying I was considering getting rid of the Facebook group because I feel like it's hard to, that's an element of safety too, right? Like sharing personal stuff and then someone wants to turn around and not be our friends anymore. It's very interesting. It doesn't feel safe when you look at it that way, you know? So been trying to figure out ways to increase our efficiency with this, but so far this is what we're doing. Well, it was a Casey. It was a reply to Shannon Smith's post, so it's like a reply on a post of someone that I can't see anymore, and they can't see me. So they either will see the comment with a faceless icon, or they will not see the comment at all, but everyone else will. And I won't be able to see the post because it's hers. I may be able to see my comment through one of the notification buttons. I'll check that out. It's not like I said anything bad. Like I always make sure to represent myself as best as I can. But again, I don't think it was a productive comment. I don't think that me saying that changed anything. I just kind of felt like I was speaking my truth. So I guess it's not all bad, right? But it's also just drawing more attention, which is also, I don't think, the right move. I think the proper way to handle it is to just ignore them and act like they don't exist. But we've been doing that for 3 years. Doesn't seem to be working very well now, does it? And CJ Harris says, thanks, Brianna Miller, for asking about the banned individuals. I was too afraid. And I don't want you guys to feel afraid, too. This means I'm failing at something, right? I don't want you guys to feel like you'll just get banned for saying whatever. I'm just trying to maintain a safe environment, you know? And the tone, I wish I could bring up what they said that day. The tone of, like, I often will let things go too far because I'm trying to understand where someone's coming from. And then I'll realize they're coming from a crappy place and they have been for like 3 or 4 messages already. But that's just because I don't want to be wild with the ban hammer, right? Flick Fox says, "Oh boy, what did I just walk in on?" Brianna Miller asked me why the banned people were banned. So I responded, and in completely complete Calhoun fashion, I think I oversplained, but that's okay. That's okay. It was a very thorough explanation. Is that sufficient, Brianna? Does that make sense? I'm gonna have to figure out ways that I can go about changing the way that I do things because it again, I don't want you guys to be feeling afraid to speak up. That's the exact opposite of what we want. So I've done something not optimally. We'll have to change moving forward. TKK, thanks for saying that. TK says, Spanx, any father would be proud of you. Thanks. I appreciate that. Concise and perfect. Fantastic, CJ. Thank you. And honestly, maybe this is a nice help. If you ever do feel like you want to speak up, but Heather says, I've been looking for Tara Smiling's page, couldn't find it. I hope she's well. She is well. Let me link her page for you. I shouldn't say she's well, like I know that. I spoke to someone who was speaking to her like a week ago, and she was doing well then. So, unless something's happened in the last week, she's doing well. She is the best. She makes me smile. My pleasure, Brianna. My pleasure. And what's interesting is the guy that's like doing all the stuff. Like there's a group of people, but there's one guy driving all of it, which is wild to me. I don't know how you can do this for 3 years and not get paid to do so. Like at some point, us living rent free in your head has got to stop, right? I guess not. I guess you can troll us for 3 years and not make any money on it, and like still it's still a fun thing to do. I don't understand that at all. But the guy was supposed to be our first interview. Um, was like one of the first boaters, and then got on the camera and like just said a bunch of crazy stuff and kind of wilded out. And so my dad cut it, and he took that. The guy took that really hard, and decided that it was his life's mission to destroy us after that point. And he built a whole channel on it, which is super interesting to me. Again, it's like still happening 3 years later. But so yeah, that's the story behind him. He was supposed to be our first interview, and then didn't like how it went down. And then the Scientology stuff. So I don't know if I should tell that story. Maybe I won't. I'll ask permission, I guess. But ever since the my dad was at the Danny Masterson hearing live, right? That's what kind of started our whole blow up, anyways. But ever since then, the Church of Scientology has not been a big fan of my dad. In fact, he's had run-ins with like Scientologists came to his house and tried to start trouble. I don't know how much I can talk about that, so I'm not going to say anymore. But my dad has had multiple run-ins with the Church of Scientology since being at the Danny Masterson trial. Some of them allegedly violent. Um, so there's the one guy, and then there's also the Church of Scientology. Not to be misconstrued, right? There's two separate entities that hate us, and the one Scientology actually has money and influence and infrastructure. So like some of the stuff that you see on the internet, especially, like, it's funny if you do any sourcing of your sources. What am I trying to say? Like if I was doing a bibliography, if you look at the websites that these things are on, like they're paid for by Scientology. Like a ton of these articles are literally crafted smut pieces. So it's interesting to me, the people that are getting banned and then staying that way for these reasons are not reading the source material. You know what I mean? They're not realizing that this is all paid for by Scientology. They're not realizing that this guy's just a bitter, angry person, right? And it also blows my mind, and doesn't I don't feel super bad about banning them when I think about it like this, because if they if they're going to move towards hate that easily, right, and ignore what's obvious to me, all of these obvious red flags, like, hey, this is contrived. So I don't know. I don't feel like they belonged here in the first place. You know what I mean? Which is really sad to say, but it really helps me justify it in my heart, you know, because I mean, it seems really simple and obvious to me. Like, there's good people, there's bad people, there's mean people, there's nice people, there's all these mean slash nice things that are going on. It seems pretty simple and cut and dry to me. You know what I mean? Um, and also, I think a lot of these people think that we're making a lot of money. Like, we're literally barely surviving. I still work at the union. Um, you know what I mean? So it's not like this isn't like literally everything that they're standing on is false. And I might be making a mistake talking this much about it, but I feel like it needs to be talked about, right? Otherwise, it's just this mysterious thing that happens, and I don't think that serves us. So, but yeah, man, it is unfortunate, but I'm just doing my best to deal with it. The mission of the boat has always been the same, and it will always remain the same. And whether or not the boat is monetized, like that part doesn't matter. Like the boat's going to do what the boat's going to do, regardless of all these other factors, regardless of the haters. You know what I mean? That's so funny that you say that, Yadira. I've never checked it out, but I often imagine him like a Hills Have Eyes kind of character. Yeah, Brianna, that's literally the issue. That was like the original issue. Yeah, I know Jimena has her own channel, and I honestly so conflicted about Jimena still. But like I can't bring her back. I tried to provide her with avenues to move forward and come back, and it was just too overwhelming at the time, I think. Barbie, I have considered. Barbie says, Spanx, have you ever considered going back to school to take courses in some type of counseling work? You would be so good at that job. I have considered that a lot. I feel like to work in the system, like, because I would probably be working for some agency or some company or some government, blah, blah, blah. I feel like that's the part about that that really bugs me. I feel like I would be super unhappy. Um, so this is what I'm doing for that part of my life, right? For like helping people, this is how I'm doing that now. But I have considered that. I've considered going back to school for a lot of different things, and I don't know. School was really never my thing. Yeah, let's wish them success on their endeavors, says Yadira. I am 100% for that. Let's wish them success and move on from that topic, perhaps. I like how you nicely slid that in there at the end. I appreciate you so much, Yadira. Jane Aldrich asks, "Is Ben Bacon Bits okay? I haven't seen him for a while. I'm pretty sure he's all right. He shows up here sometimes. I don't think that he's a big fan of my dad, but he shows up and hangs out with us sometimes. I mean, if you want, Rana, you can watch it. I guess. I mean, my dad would say ban you, but again, I feel like that's taking other people's inventory. Like it's none of my business what you're consuming. You know what I mean? I think the issue becomes like so the reason that's an issue like the reason that's objectively an issue, let's say that, is because you're supporting that person, right? By viewing. But I don't want to tell you what you can do and can't do, Brianna. Make your own esteemed decision, Swirl it and smell it. Oh, Jimenez channel? Absolutely. Absolutely. Casey says, when you watch their channel, you're still supporting them even if you don't subscribe or comment. This is 100% true. And again, like I should stand on business. I should stand on this. And in fact, I probably end up will be doing that. But it's hard for me to tell people what they can do and can't do. You know what I mean? Like when you're on my platform, like you got to abide by the rules. Like I get like that makes sense to my brain. But like telling people they can't go watch some other channel really bothers me. And like even though that channel is absolute garbage, um, but I'm not the overlord. I'm just Spanx Calhoun. I'm just a lowly ship captain. But yeah, just move in the direction of love. I don't want you to fear. I want you to be here and be happy and be comfortable. That's all. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Ben. I miss the guy. I have to say, Jane. Yeah, in fact, would you please go watch him in his channel? How about that, Brianna? Would you please go support my friend? I still love her very much. I wish we could have spoken more about the whole thing, but it didn't work out that way. Ain't nothing lowly about this boat. Let's go, Jeremy. Ben also has his own channel. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, love has no direction. Yadira, preach. Let's go. Of course, Brianna, we are free to support others' good work. Please don't feel like you need to take sides. Love has no direction. It goes everywhere. I love this so much. I'm literally going to copy and paste this onto my notes. Can I copy and paste? Oh, I can't. It's going on the quote wall. One day I'll share the quote wall with you guys. It's not nearly magnificent enough yet, but it is pretty magnificent so far. All right, guys, that is where I'm going to call it. Flick Fox, I'm glad you joined us. Hopefully that wasn't too off-putting, huh? Yeah, me too, Flick. I'm a huge fan of clicking the three dots and then putting don't share this channel or whatever, like telling YouTube I don't want to see this anymore. I love hitting that button. Makes me feel strong. Yeah, and we're all about love and connection here, so that's perfect. We don't have to talk about hate and drama. All right, guys. I feel like I may have missed some comments today, but it's just we're gonna have to live with it. I will be doing some painting later today. We're gonna take this in a realism direction rather than a cloud monster direction, and I think we'll do some work on the grass today, work on the sky some more, and maybe the tree a little bit. Maybe some water as well. I don't know. It's time for some more layers, though, for sure. That's funny, Flick. I see you. James Collins has a wonderful closing message. You all are exactly where you're supposed to be in life. You are loved. Remember that. And Captain Calhoun has a message as well. You're all dazzling and tremendous. Don't forget. You guys have a great day. Hit that like, subscribe, the bell for notifications. Yeah, and we're gonna start doing painting on a schedule. We will be painting today at. I'm gonna have to decide the time. Often I'm moving the time around to fit other things that aren't solid in my routine, so I'm gonna solidify my routine. We'll do it between 1 and 2 today. And when we get together to paint today, I will have a schedule ready, right? I will have the dates and times that we're going to be painting. And again, I'd like to be painting like 3 times a week. I've got 10 canvases. Maybe we can have 10 weeks of painting. I mean, that's a lot, right? Maybe that's a stretch, but we're going to shoot for the stars and land in the sky. So, all right. You guys have a wonderful day. I'll see you later. Captain Calhoun out. Ooh, my off buttons over here today.